Very good morning, children, and welcome to session 4, lesson Story of Microorganisms, part 2. So, already in a previous session, we studied about the terms pathogens and vectors. Pathogens means the microorganisms that cause disease can be called as pathogens, while vectors means the animals or insects which carry the pathogens from one person means infected person to healthy person. They are said to be vectors. When we take malaria, for example, malaria is caused by pathogen that is a plasmodium parasite that is called plasmodium. And a vector, what is a vector means female anopheles mosquito. This female anopheles mosquito carry this pathogen from infected person to healthy person. So malaria is caused by pathogen that is a plasmodium and transmitted by vector that is a female anopheles mosquito. And even we studied about communicable disease. Communicable means the disease which can easily spread from infected person to healthy person. For example, take today's world. We're all suffering from a disease that is Corona-19 or COVID-19 virus. Okay, and this disease, as it is a communicable disease, it is spreading very easily from person to person. Got it? Okay. And then Ronald Ross, and this is the scientist who studied about malaria. That means he carried out all his research in a Secunderabad, right? And even we studied how this houseflies can transfer the disease from infected person to healthy person, right? Okay, that's why. So we should not take the food materials which are prepared in unhygienic conditions or which are kept unopened. Unopened means that means without proper covering. Got it? Now let's come to our new topic. That is here is a table, and if you carefully observe this table, we can find what are the common and dangerous disease we can find in human beings by different types of pathogens. So here, if you carefully observe this column, here we can find name of disease like a tuberculosis, chickenpox, measles, mumps, polio, swine flu, cholera, typhoid, malaria, dengue, chikungunya, Japanese encephalitis. And in the second column, we can find a causative microorganism, means pathogen, by which microorganism it is caused. See here the diseases are caused by many pathogens like bacteria, virus, bacteria, parasite. Parasite means here protozoan parasite, then a virus, then a mode of transmission. What is meant by transmission? Here, transmission means how it can spread from one person to another person, right? Here we can find different methods like air, water, then food, then some insects like in say this housefly, then mosquitoes, like this. Got it? And then here this is what? Preventive measures. Preventive measures means by taking what steps we can protect ourselves against this disease, right? So if you carefully observe this disease, this table, we can find that some of the diseases are caused by bacteria, that's a kind of pathogen, and then some are caused by viruses, and some by this parasite, like this. Got it? Now here, depending upon this, we have some questions. Let's see what are these questions, and we discuss the answers, right? See here, what is the first one? What disease can be prevented if we can control mosquitoes? That means by controlling mosquitoes, what disease we can control means, say here, observe, if you take the last four, these four, see, these four are these four diseases are spread by which one? That is mosquitoes. So we can say malaria, then dengue, then chikungunya, and Japanese encephalitis. So these four diseases are caused by these mosquitoes. So by controlling these mosquitoes, automatically we can get to protection against these 4 diseases. Now let's see the next question. Which disease we can prevent by vaccination? You know what is meant by this? When we take vaccines, which disease we can control? So let's see. Here, observe the 4th column, last column, vaccination. So what is the first one? That is BCG, which means Bacillus calmette-guerin. Bacillus calmette-guerin. So that can be controlled by a controlled tuberculosis. And next one, see here just below that we can find vaccination. Here, first 5 diseases like a tuberculosis. So tuberculosis, chickenpox, measles, mumps, polio, and swine flu. These diseases can be controlled by taking what? By taking this vaccination. And have you seen, if you carefully observe your upper arm, so here, there you can find a small mole, a round mole. Have you seen that? What is that? That is, that's a symbol for vaccination. When we get the vaccination, there you can find that mole. You just observe later, right? And let's see the next one. What are the diseases which are transmitted by contaminated water? Means contaminated. Already I told you. Contaminated means when disease-causing microbes are present in any substance, then we call that as a contaminated. Say for example, microbes are present in the air, then we call that as a contaminated air. If in a water, contaminated water. If in a food, contaminated food, like this. So here what is the question? So which diseases are transmitted by taking contaminated water? Means here we can find, see, contaminated water. That is cholera, typhoid, and even here we can find one more, polio, right? So these 3 can be controlled by preventing taking contaminated water. Got it? Okay, next see the next question. So can you name some diseases which are transmitted by air? Which diseases are spreading from one person to another person through air? Means, see, here, take first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. First 5 diseases. If you carefully observe this. Okay, wait. If you carefully observe these 5. See, air, by air. So what is the first one? That is a tuberculosis, and second one chickenpox, then measles and mumps, and the fourth one polio, and last one swine flu. So all these 6 diseases are spread by this contaminated air. So if we cover, nowadays we are going outside by wearing the mask, all these things. Why? Means to prevent the disease, to prevent this COVID virus, which can easily spread through the air. Okay, that's why we're covering our noses and mouth with a mask. So even these diseases can be controlled by preventing this contaminated air. Then what is the next one? Last one. Can we protect from bacteria and protozoan disease through vaccination? What are they? So by taking vaccine, which bacterial and protozoan disease we can control? Means, for example, take a first one. See here, it is caused by bacteria, right? And this can be controlled by vaccine. And but when we take other one bacterial disease, like say this cholera and typhoid, they even for cholera and typhoid also these vaccines are available, but here it is not mentioned. But even for cholera, typhoid also this vaccination is available. And the next one, malaria. Even this malaria, here parasite is given. Actually parasite means a protozoan parasite, that is called a plasmodium. So by taking vaccination, we can control this malaria. Here it is not mentioned, But of course, by taking vaccination, we can control this malaria. So these are the two examples, that is tuberculosis and malaria. They are said to be bacterial disease which can be controlled by vaccination. And that's it. Okay. So you please go through these questions and the table, then very easily you can get the answers. Now come to the next topic. So disease causing microbes in animals and plants. So I told you these microorganisms can cause disease in all the living organisms like plants, animals, including with the cattle like this. Already we discussed about the disease that can be seen in human beings. But now we're going to deal with the animals and also plants. In which animals and plants the microbes can cause disease. Okay. So when we take especially this cattle, in a cattle we can find a very dangerous disease, that is anthrax, right? And given foot and mouth disease. Actually, this anthrax disease was seen only in animals in earlier days, but later see some doctors, what they did means they made some changes in this virus, and then they used that virus to cause a disease in the human beings also. Human beings, we call such weapons as bioweapons. Okay. And I don't know whether you're born or not. In those days, see when you get any empty letters or papers or a currency, something like this, so there was a rumor, don't touch them and don't take them like this. Why means, so over the paper or inside that letter we can find that powder, and that contains this anthrax virus, and so if anyone touches that, they get the disease like that. Okay. So that's a disease. And even next one, there is a foot and mouth disease. So these two diseases can be seen in the cattle, and of course anthrax in the human beings. And what's the next one? Viral disease in the prawns. Prawns means, we call them as a royalu, and even in the prawns also we can find a viral disease. Okay, and here we can find the pictures, and let's see, you get an idea, right? So here, what's the first one? See here, this is anthrax disease. We can find the cow that was affected by this anthrax, and even in case of humans, if any person get anthrax, we can find the infection will be like this, right, over the skin. And what is this? This is foot and mouth disease. That means if the cattle is affected, from this mouth, the saliva is coming outside, comes outside in the form of foam, just like a nurugu, right? Like this. Continuously it comes out. And the next one, viral disease in prawns. If you carefully observe this area, here we can find some white colored dots. Have you seen? So these dots are because of this viral infection. Correct? So in this way, these microorganisms cause different types of disease and different types of living organisms, like even animals, and now we're going to deal with plants. Now here we can find the table again, and in this table we can find over the first column we can find different types of disease, like citrus canker, then red rot for sugarcane, tick-rot disease in a groundnut, tobacco mosaic virus in a tobacco plant, and then a smut disease in a rice, like this. So it doesn't mean that remaining plants won't get the disease. Almost all the plants will get the disease, but here this is only example, right? So when you observe the first one, citrus canker, it is caused by which microorganism? That is a bacteria. And how this bacteria can spread from infected plant to healthy plant? By air. Can you see the picture? So even when you observe this lemon, over the lemon you can find a brown colored structures. Have you seen? So those structures are because of this bacteria. And what do you call that disease? That disease can be called as a citrus canker disease. And what's the next one? Red rot of sugarcane. So it is caused by microorganism, that's a fungi. And how it is able to spread means by air and seedlings. What are seedlings? Generally, we cannot find any seeds in case of sugarcane. But how the sugarcane plants can be grown? Now, cane is cut into pieces, and then these pieces we call them as stem cuttings, and these stem cuttings are inserted into the soil, and so each stem cut or each piece can be developed into a new plant. Okay, and if you may clearly observe this, if you are eating this sugar cane, and now and then you can find that inside the cane, it is white in color, but here and there you can find red colored lines. Have you seen? Yeah, that is the main symptom of this red rot disease. And the next one, tick-rot disease. Tick-rot disease in the groundnut, it is caused by fungi. And what is the causative organism? There is air and seeds. Air and seeds. Seeds means, generally through seeds we grow this groundnut plants, right? If seeds are already infected, then automatically the plant will get the disease. Okay, what is the main symptom? Here, over the leaf, we can find the black colored dots. Black colored dots, and later the whole leaf will turn into black color, and so that rate of photosynthesis decreases, and so production also decreases. And then the next one, tobacco mosaic virus, which can be otherwise called as a TMV. TMV, which means tobacco mosaic virus. It is caused by virus. And what is mode of transmission? There is insects, different types of insects like grasshoppers, and then it's honeybees, and then some worms. Okay, so caterpillars, they spread the disease from one plant to another plant. Okay, and here, if you carefully observe this tobacco leaf, we can find some foldings. Okay, that's the main symptom of this TMV disease. And what's the last one? That's a smut disease of rice. Smut. Okay, and it is caused by the pathogen, that is a fungus, and how it is able to transfer means by air. By air. Say for example, okay, by air. And what is the main symptom means here? The whole plant will turn into yellow color. Will turn into yellow color, so that automatically rate of photosynthesis decreases, and then the production also decreases. Correct? So this is a way we can find different types of disease that can be seen in different types of plants. Right? So that's all for today, and have a good day. Thank you.